Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by the Ty Capone, fresh off of a UFC 300 spectacular. Me and Ty watched our first event in person together in a very, very long time. It's probably been 5 years since the last time me and you took in an event together. It was a hell of a night. A lot of shit went down. We're going to get into all of it. Ty, you are back in the St. Pete. How are you feeling? How was your trip back up to the 856? How is everything going?
Pretty good. Weather's stayed consistent. It was nicer in Jersey than it was in Florida for a day. I was kind of surprised by that. And then as soon as I land, it's 85, and I'm just like, God damn. I packed heavy, so obviously I don't know what I'm doing here, but that's fine. I had a pretty decent time. There's a lot of people who weren't really doing anything. Just same old South Jersey stuff.
Nothing going on.
Nothing going on. Not shit. So perhaps next time we'll be in the summer, maybe down by the beach, down in the old Wildwood, maybe. But yeah, I'm glad to be back working the next 6 days, so that should be fun.
Hell yeah! All right,
it was good. It was great watching with you and all the boys, dude. We had a good time.
We had a great time. We saw some crazy moments. We saw one of the greatest moments in the history of the UFC in Max Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje at the very end of that fight. I was very sad, very, very sad to see that happen. Not only for my bet that was not going to win, but just don't like to see a guy in Justin Gaethje, who I've already questioned if he has brain damage, get just even further brain damage that he just unnecessarily did not need to take him. But, Ty, we'll just start at the top. Poatan, Alex Pereira. We were right about this one. This is one of the ones we actually did hit on. He gets it done in the first round. TKO. The entrance was incredible. Overall, I guess we'll just, before we get into the fights and before overall, how did you feel about the event overall? I know we were talking about, do you think this one was better than 299? And was this the best event of the year? And how did the bonuses really make the fighters fight a certain way? I don't think it really had all that much of an effect overall. I think these fights would have probably played out pretty similar to the way they did. But what were your thoughts on the whole event as just overall?
Well, I loved it. It was great. I think the only part that didn't really make sense, I think, was probably the bonus structure. Only 4 people got bonuses, and they were some of the higher paid fighters on the card, so it was kind of confusing. I get you're getting the performance bonus, but Diego Lopez not getting one seems a little bit absurd. But he did say he was taking care of Figgy, Kayla. He was taking care of everybody else. So who knows what that means? I'm sure we'll never know, but it's probably something good. Maybe 100K, maybe 50, 75. Because that event, that made the UFC some good money.
Oh, yeah.
As it should. I mean, I like the old school music. I like the montages they kept playing at random times. The excitement from start to finish. That's how more cards should be, not obviously as stacked. It's almost impossible. I mean, look at the next 7 events we have, not, counting some of the pay-per-views we have that are not looking so hot. 302, I think, is going to be decent, but, we'll see. Either way, I think it definitely met my expectations.
That's a hell of a segue there, Ty. We have to talk about it. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler has officially announced at the post-fight press conference. No fireworks, no hubbub, no real, big deal made about it. Just a piece of paper slid in front of Dana, acting like he doesn't know what's going on. There was other fights announced, but we'll talk about them in a second. But Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, UFC 302, June 29th, 5 rounds. I think it's at 170, but no one ever really told us. Ty, I am so excited. I cannot wait. I've been waiting for the return of Conor for 3 years now. It has finally arrived. I think this is the perfect matchup for Conor, and again, I will stand by the fact that if he does lose this fight, he's just cooked. It is what it is. Time to move on. This is the perfect matchup for him. He should be able to take care of business against a guy of the build and just the fight style of Michael Chandler, especially if Chandler's not going to try and spam takedowns, which is not really his style. And even if he does, I don't think he'll have the immense amount of success that people think he will. But I'm so fired up to have him back. That's going to be another night where it's going to have that UFC 300 feel and excitement around it, where people are just fired up to just go watch that. You'll be talking about it for weeks. People will be like, "Yo, what are you doing for the Conor fight? What do you, And it'll be like you'll get that feeling again before that we had probably that you and I both felt before 300.
Yeah, and Joe Pyfer is going to be on that card as well, fighting Mr. Barry Holt. So that's going to be kind of
wow, Powerball.
Be a nice little grinder. Ray Saruya, I'm not sure who this gentleman is. He looks like he's a K-pop singer, but he's 9-0, 21 years old, a bunch of finishes. I guess he seems like a badass. He's going to be making his debut in this card against Carlos Hernandez, the prospect tester. Larson Gomez, she's back. Cub Swanson, God forbid, God bless him and Andre Fili. The first one who gets punched square is going to sleep. So we might get a double knockout there. They definitely have to stack that card. Well, they don't have to stack that card. You got Conor on it. That doesn't matter. However, I would like to see the main card. At least a nice co-main event, so I can look forward to back-to-back fights. Maybe they can do some action. Maybe Yuri can fight Jamal Hill on that card. Who knows?
Maybe they're already calling for that.
Right. So there's definitely some ways they can go. I'm excited. I think I've been on Chandler for a while, but man, Chandler's been knocked out 4 times. He's been knocked out early, as early as a minute by Pitbull. He's been knocked out late by guys like Will Brooks. Poirier finished him in the 3rd. Charles Oliveira, after he was on death's doorstep in the 1st, smoked him as soon as the 2nd round started.
Yep.
He's had an injury loss. He's had a couple split decision losses. He's kind of a mixed bag, and especially since he got to the UFC, I think he's 2-3. So obviously the guys he's fighting from the rip, Dan Hooker, Oliveira, Gaethje, Ferguson, Poirier, now Conor. I mean, it's a murderer's row. But he 37? I guess I think he's going to be 38 by the time the fight comes. I don't know. I think he's probably. I don't know what to expect from either guy. I mean, Chandler hasn't fought in a long time. It'll be a little bit less than 2 years, and obviously Conor's been off for a while. So I think I'm going to go Conor. I think I'm just going to go off vibes. I think Chandler's going to get smoked. He's going to get a big payday, and that's all he's going to care about. And I can't blame him, but
doesn't that kind of seem like it from the discussion or like Michael Chandler talking about I believed that this fight would happen. I never gave up on it and all. Like it seems like he's acting like he already won. So like he's just happy to get this payday and like he already won. Like it's not. He doesn't really care. Like I know he does care, but like it was just weird for me to hear him like on that. I think he did like an Instagram or a Twitter video that I saw, and he's just like, oh man, if you believe, you will achieve, sort of shit. And I'm like, dude, you didn't even fight yet. Like what are we talking about? The odds are like right down the middle right now. So I mean, I'm going to go Conor.
The fuck out.
Yeah. Well, Ty, I think if Conor's any bit of sharp at all, like if he's not completely cooked, then I think he wins this fight. That has been my thought process since the second that this was kind of discussed and talked about. So I don't see a way that this really goes anywhere else unless, like I said, he's just completely washed, has nothing left to give, and just gets rolled over. And the leg is just, he gets kicked in the leg once, and all of a sudden it's just he can barely move, and he's limping around. And if that's the case, but I don't think he would. I don't think he would take this fight. I don't think he would. I don't know. Because the UFC was really hesitant in getting this done for quite some time. I wonder what the real holdup was. I speculated that I thought it was contract related, and that they didn't want to have him go off the free agency or something like that. Seems like maybe he's done with the whole Roadhouse, the build up or the promotional tour surrounding that. Now it's time to focus on the fight. And I think we're a little bit over, a little bit under 3 months from 2.5 months until the fight. Very excited, Ty. Cannot wait.
Yeah, and Chandler said it is at 170 confirmed for the main event.
Nice.
He said they signed the contract a couple weeks ago. I wonder if he's on Ariel, I think, right now.
Oh, okay.
So who knows what Chandler's talking about? But I think he's kind of just holding out for this big payday. And yeah, again, good for him. I mean, he's had a crazy career, and he came to the UFC late. And you love seeing him fight. I think Chandler might get put out early, and then so we won't really even know how Conor really is. If the fight gets extended, but I don't even think it matters. I mean, the place is going to just absolutely erupt. Conor lands a just short left that puts Chandler down, and then he hits him with a couple hammer fists. Good night. I think I'm going to put that prediction right now. I don't think there's really much more I need. I mean, I kind of know how these guys are going to look. There's no question if either one comes in or under or overweight. I think that's not a problem. I think they're both going to look yoked out of their mind, right? No more USADA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm here for it, dude. Let's go.
And then we got UFC 3. No, I'm sorry. So that's 303. I think 302 is the one I was saying that's the Conor fight, but that's actually 303. 302 also got a main event tie at the end of this. Islam Makhachev is going to be defending his title against Dustin Poirier. I was kind of surprised by this just getting announced right away, and you already heard that they were talking to Sarukian backstage. They kind of put fighters in a bad spot the second the fight's over, trying to negotiate a fight or, trying to basically pressure them into taking a fight. I don't like Sarukian, but I don't blame him for saying no to this and kind of waiting, sitting on his spot for a second and waiting for the only problem is that Islam might not fight again until 2025. That's the big issue with some of these Dagestani Russian gentlemen. But him and Poirier, 5 rounds, 155. I think me and you are going to be in agreement there that we think it's going to be pretty much an easy night for Islam. I don't see a way that fight really goes any other way. And then you got Strickland and Costa in the co-main event. 5 rounds, 185. That's a fascinating fight. But first, I guess, just give me your thoughts on that main event, and I guess you can trickle into the co.
Yeah, I think Islam's going to be a quick work of him, honestly. I'll be interested to see what the odds are, but I don't know, man. I think Dustin maybe, if he keeps it standing, he can keep it close. But even then, I just think Islam's still improving. He's 32. I think he's probably going to be, let's see what they match up size-wise. They've never, for some reason, thought they fought for some odd reason. He's going to be taller. He's probably going to be bigger. Just a little less of a reach. I think once he gets to the ground, he's probably cooked, obviously.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if he finishes him or not, if it goes like kind of how the Volk fight went, or the first one, or kind of like the Oliveira fight, where he just overwhelms
by the way. I know the people can.
Yeah, they're always making their daytime.
They're really rolling by now.
Yeah, they're rolling by kind of slow. If you haven't noticed.
There we go.
Yeah, there he is. Yep, yeah. Slow as fuck. Wherever they're going, the guy got away. He's gone. So, yeah, I think he rolls through him. I think he probably subs him, if anything, but I can see him knocking him out. We've seen him get head kicked before. Islam just head kicked Volk, so I can see this going a bunch of different ways. He'll probably get a decision win because I'm going to bet inside the distance. So just write it in, pencil it in. Don't even pencil it in. Put it with Sharpie.
It seems like that's always the way. I would take Islam sub if the fight was today, just because Dustin should have been subbed by BSD, and I'm taking Islam's ground game over anyone else probably in the world at that weight class. So that seems like an easy pick for me. On to the Strickland Costa fight. Does that do much for you? It's kind of like a nice little fight. It's a kind of exciting. Do you care all that much about this?
Of the Costa fight, you said?
Yeah, Costa and Strickland.
It should be good.
Yeah.
But maybe it won't. Maybe it won't be. Maybe they just stare at each other and counter. I don't. It's the 185-pound division. I'm kind of more interested in how the Dolidze Fluffy fight goes.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think this card's. I actually like the card. I don't think it's necessarily great. They need to add one more to the main card. I would say, but
yep.
Mickey Gall's back, so that's there's that going for you. And then in general, I think there's some good matchups. Andre Lima and Hun Sung Park is a battle of undefeated young kids. Joshua Van, our boy, is back against Su Maderji. Roman Kopilov, Cesar Almeida. Both of them are going to strike it out. Randy Brown, Elizu Zaleski. There's some good fights on it. Definitely need another one for the main card. Either way, I think it should be pretty good card. That's in Newark. Are you going to go? You going to be there?
I don't think so. Maybe, but yeah, it's probably going to be more expensive, and I just don't see myself wanting to. Yeah, I don't know. If it's not under $200, then I don't want to go. I'll just watch it on TV.
Yeah, exactly. And, another boys' night.
Save myself a 2-hour drive up to Newark for Islam to sub them in 30 seconds.
Right.
So I guess we should just move on to the UFC 300. We were kind of getting into it, but Forgot to talk about some of that fight news that we got. UFC 300. Alex Pereira, Poatan. Oh yeah. We were doing that a lot during
That was great.
during the fight. We were having some fun, but Alex Pereira, there's not enough you could say about this guy and the impact and just the meteoric rise that this man has undergone since coming into the UFC and just kind of skyrocketing through these rankings, through these weight classes, and the knockouts and just the power and the impact that he has on some of these fights is just remarkable. I mean, Jamal Hill, he goes up at 205. Jamal Hill, I think this was not the best version of Jamal Hill. I think we kind of discussed that, and it seemed like that was the case. The man had a little bit of a muffin top going on there, and he sometimes does, but he didn't look like he was in the same shape that he comes into fights in, normally. If he's in good shape and he's able to be working out around the clock. But he said, he didn't want to grapple. He thought he was going to beat him in the stand-up. And that was that IQ that we kind of talked about where when we talked about the Paul Craig fight and he sat in Paul Craig's guard, got up, and then went back into the guard, which was the only way this guy can beat you, and you still just kind of played into his game and let him beat you. It seemed like something similar happened, but just on the feet this time. And Pereira just started to pick him apart very early on. And it seemed like he landed a shot early on, and Pereira went, oh, this guy doesn't even hit that hard. And then started to really just walk him down, jab that keg. He was jabbing the keg a lot. He takes the nut shot, which right off the cup that everybody can hear, and he just puts the hand up. Just puts the hand up like The Rock and just says, like I don't want to hear this.
Move.
We're good. Let's keep fighting. And Herb's like, all right, let's keep fighting. And that definitely did fuck up Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill was like, oh, shit, all right. Then he had to get right back into the fight, and then it was 1, 2, 3 more feints, bang, left hook, rocked his ass, sent him back, finishes him on the ground. Poatan does the flop celebration. He's basically just like, what did you expect? What did you want to see? Izzy was upset. I don't know if you saw that clip of him watching the fight, and he was really rooting for Jamal Hill.
Oh, I bet.
And it didn't go his way. Alex Pereira retains his 205-pound belt. What did you make of this? How great is this guy, man?
Yeah, I mean he's on a nice Hall of Fame trajectory already. I mean, you got to think in his first fight he had to go to the second round with Andreas Michailidis, and he wasn't even he couldn't even stop that guy from taking him down. The Bruno Silva fight went the distance. It's crazy how much he's improving. Also, the fact that he was able to make middleweight 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 times is crazy. This dude this guy could be a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even be one of the smaller heavyweights. So insane. And then see him just dominate Jamal Hill. Yeah, he's back early from injury, but still, he didn't even hit him with all of that. I mean, we saw the replay, hit him with the knuckle, just part of the glove landed squarely, and it didn't even matter. He's still his eyes went into 10 different directions before he even fell. And then a couple more hammer fists, and he was done.
Yeah.
Almost went out, pretty much. I think he kind of was out. His eyes were just open. He was just didn't know where he was staring into. And just quick finishing instincts by him. One of the just scarier gentlemen to ever fight in the sport ever. Outlanded him 17-1, I think 12-1 to the head. It was very quick, but yeah, 12-1 to the head. He went to the body, went to the legs, like you said, a couple ground strikes, and I just made short work. And one of the more baller one of the more baller knockouts. The loud cup check. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, that
I
was
don't even know. I don't even. Whatever he wants to do it. If he wants to fight Tom Aspinall at 301, I'm fucking here for it. He didn't take any damage. He's a unicorn. Let him do whatever. Kind of like Conor and Prime Conor. Let him go up 2 divisions, fight 2 divisions for the 2 belts. Let John and DC do whatever they want. Let Pereira do what he wants.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's 35, 36 already. So imagine he goes up to heavyweight, and I would take Aspinall. He's so quick. He's bigger, quick, and he also has power. But we've seen him get rocked before, and all it takes is one, not even a full one, just a half of one, and he can put your lights on. If he puts on more weight, and he doesn't have to cut any weight. I don't know how much more. I don't know how much harder he can hit, but I would assume he can hit a little bit more if you give him like 240.
Yeah, and I don't know how he would look against an Aspinall. Aspinall's such a large human being, but again, so is Pereira. He's a big guy. I don't know really what's next for him. At 205, they're already lining up. Ankalaev would be the next one, which I guess, but I don't know. I mean, what did he just beat Johnny Walker? I don't know. Does that really get the people going or move the people? Could that be a main event on a card? Of course, it could be. I just don't know if that's really the move. I don't know if Aspinall's the move either. So I think maybe it probably is Ankalaev after some time. It doesn't seem like he would be ready to go for 301. I know he kind of wanted to, but I saw Ariel report he broke a toe in the lead up to this. And then then injured another toe during the fight. So because you saw him limping around as soon as the fight was after. He really just truly is a monster. Jamal Hill already kind of wants Yuri, which should have been the fight originally for that 205 belt. I would like to see that. I don't know if Yuri would want that. Maybe they could run the Yuri fight back. If Yuri hadn't already fought Pereira, then I think that would be the next fight. But I think that rematch needs a little bit of time to breathe before you run that back right away. I like Pereira and Ankalaev next probably, and shout out to my voice crack, but I don't love that fight as like a fan standpoint, and it could be boring, and Ankalaev might be able to just take him down over and over again. I think Ankalaev is boring for the most part, but it's probably the right fight to make next.
Yeah, I think I agree pretty much all around. I'm not opposed to that either. I like Ankalaev, but I do admit that he's not the most crowd pleaser and not the most fan favorite popular guy, but I'm here for it. Why not?
How about Zhang Weili taking out Yan Xiaonan? Now this fight had a little bit of controversy surrounding it, especially from me, from a guy. I'm mad because I faded myself and I had Weili sub during the event when I picked Weili decision on the card, and it shouldn't have been because Yang Xiaonan went to sleep at the end of that first round and woke up, and they were like, hey, Yan, you want us to wake her up? And they're just shoving smelling salts in her nose and doing all sorts of crazy shit. They were shaking her and hitting her with the paddles, and I'm like, what's going on here? There was a lot of shady stuff going on during this card, but at the end of the day, Yan Xiaonan is just thoroughly dominating. I mean, she had her moments, but it was Zhang Weili just handled her for a majority of this fight, and it really wasn't all that close. And the grappling and the power and her striking didn't look all that great, but it's just going to take a real tall task and a real good effort to take Zhang Weili out.
Yeah, she had 13 minutes of control, pretty much. 6 to 9 on takedowns. I mean, she got a couple. Jan got a couple takedowns herself. Also got credit for a knockdown. I believe that was round 3. She's good, but she's not elite. And Weili is very elite. Honestly, she won 49-45 all around, right? I believe. Just with the just everything she throws at you, and she's very accurate. 84 of 119 to the head. That's just dangerous, man. 84 to 21 on head strikes. She didn't go to the legs as much. I think it's because of that boxing heavy. She keeps her leg very, very heavy on her front foot. But she goes to the body. She's good in the clinch. She will make you work at any and every point on the ground, even when you think you're safe, and even when you do reverse her, she's just so strong and crafty and just all around great, I should say. And she's going to be tough to beat, man. She's getting older, but that doesn't matter as much in women's. So I'm not really even sure what you do next. I guess Tatiana Suarez, is that what they're trying to do next? I think that'd be a good matchup stylistically, but I don't know if she gets it done either.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, like you sit here, you're like, maybe she could get it done, but
look at Tatiana. I mean, dude, she took like 15 years off.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't all her fault, but it's a lot of damage physically and mentally. And when you look at her striking, it's not championship level. So she's really going to have to get that wrestling going, which could happen. And she's also a strong woman herself. I just, I favor Weili 1,000,000% in that one.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, if Weili is smart about this and just kind of keeps that fight standing and uses her boxing and her striking and her power to, I think the wrestling, Tatiana would be better, but I think Weili would be able to hold her own and not be getting completely dominated on the ground so long as she's able to keep the cardio going. And I think the way to tire Tatiana Suarez out is to probably keep her in long, extended striking exchanges and periods of time where you're having to stand and strike and check leg kicks and things like that. So the longer it stays standing, I think the better would be for Zhang Weili, and probably would be a decision victory again for Miss Weili. So
Yeah,
another great performance by her. She is kind of underappreciated, I think, in the whole overall UFC game. And the 115ers women kind of always do get the disrespect, I guess. Ever since basically since Joanna was the only one that kind of got the. Yeah, I mean, I guess not really though. Rose was, everybody loved Rose, but I guess Weili has kind of had a couple of snoozers, you can say, even though they weren't really. She's not really going out there and just flatlining people the way Rose was able to flatline her, and she got Joanna out of there, but that wasn't a title fight. I think the Carla Esparza one was a big deal because she kind of just dominated her, but nobody cared about Esparza, So she's gonna need a big time opponent to kind of get people excited and get people behind her. But how about this, Ty? This was the one we talked about it. It could have been the main event. We were right. Could you imagine if the night had finished on this? This would have been insane. Max Holloway knocks out Justin Gaethje out cold, flat out cold, with 1 second left on the clock. They point at the ground. Max says, "Let's do it." Justin, of course, is going to oblige them. They stand there. They fucking throw hands for a good 10 seconds before a overhand right lands on the chin of Justin Gaethje, and he goes to sleep. Max Holloway was just all around better than Justin Gaethje on Saturday night. It really wasn't all that close. I was shocked by this. I really was. I mean, I think both of us were. We both had Gaethje TKO. We thought, I think me and you both put a little bit too much stock in that Poirier fight from all those years ago, and we didn't account for the fact that Holloway was going to make the adjustments going up to 55 this time that he didn't make the last time. I mean, he looked stronger, he looked bigger, he looked fast. He just looked like a whole new Max in there, and Justin Gaethje just looked like, as slow and just, compared to Max Holloway, the guy going up always seemingly has the speed advantage, but he was just beating him to the punch the whole time. The only thing Gaethje was really able to consistently get out on offense was those thunderous leg kicks, and they really did start to add up. It's just, I don't think he threw him enough, and I mean, not that he really could, because he got his nose broken at the end of that first round off like a freakish. It was like a spinning back kick, but the way the kick landed, it landed just like his heel hit his nose, like right on the bridge of the nose, cracked his nose, and the fight was just never the same after that. But Max Holloway and his team, they were ready to go. They had them spinning back kicks the whole time. Every time he did it, Gaethje ducked into them. And Gaethje, that's just a hole in his game.
Every single time.
It was that they exposed, and there was really nothing they could do about it in the fight. And I'm sure Trevor Whitman was over there smiling as he got knocked out because he's smiling every time they show him on camera. But what a moment, all time. Just you'll never forget that. You'll never forget where you were. You'll never forget watching that. They'll play this on highlight reels for millenniums to come. And Max Holloway gets $600,000 off that knockout. What a moment, dude.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, the craziest part is just the output and the accuracy that he lands at. 309 attempted strikes, 181 landed, 58%, which is insane in such a high volume fight against such an elite striker, one of the best strikers in UFC history, pound for pound. And he just ups his volume as the rounds go on. They didn't credit Gaethje for a knockdown. I think they should have in that, was the fourth, right?
Yeah.
But, whatever. I don't know. I guess they count a knockdown as you have to knock somebody down and then either they're out or you assert some kind of ground position, which I mean,
that's
if
weird.
You get knocked down, you're knocked down.
The man landed on his butt.
Yeah, it's not the same as boxing knockdowns, which it's just dumb, I think. But
I agree.
Yeah, man, everybody counted Max out, including myself, especially myself. As soon as this fight was made, I'm like, yeah, he's done. He doesn't stand a chance. Dustin's just a different fighter than Justin. So, they prepared different. He's made some changes, like you said, some improvements. I think I heard somebody say he made a brief or a minor change in camp, like with a sparring partner or a trainer or a coach or something minor. Obviously, it worked. His corner went absolutely insane. You don't even hear much about his corner. He's not with Extreme Couture or Kill Cliff or any of these
it's not
big
a big
gyms.
camp.
He's with the same guys he's been with forever, and he keeps making improvements. Now he's putting people out, and he's just to put it all on the line like that. I mean, Justin could have easily cracked him,
Yeah.
and he could have went to sleep, and he didn't care. Also has that steel chin. That's just it's. I'm at the point now where I'm not gonna believe it until I see it. Except
I agree.
Taporia, I'm gonna have to take Taporia knockout. But even then, I'm like, he might have to start wrestling a little bit. Like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to put Max out. I don't know if anybody can put Max out. Eventually, maybe it'll happen. But what a fighter! What a fighter! I kind of want to see him at 155 to stay around. But also, him and Taporia is gonna be an absolute banger.
Yeah, that seems like that's what's next. I think Max could hang out at 55. I just don't think he's going to beat Islam or anything like that. So it's just kind of what would be the point? Maybe for another defense of that BMF belt at some point down the road, might be the move. Maybe do him and Conor if you really want. Because that would be perfect. Run that back. That would be an awesome fight. The build-up would be incredible. Two just superstars of the game. Maybe you do that down the road, but I agree. Him and Taporia next. He doesn't really care where it's going to be. Taporia, your boy looked a little shook after watching that knockout happen. I don't think he really is in love with the idea of having to fight Max Holloway, but I don't think he's going to be.
He's talking shit though.
He is, and I don't think it's a matchup where he's going to feel like he's up against it or something. I think he's going to be I think he is the favorite in the odds or in the sports books. I think it's going to be an awesome fight. I think, like you said, I think at some point he's going to have to try to implement that wrestling, but this might be a nice little boxing match that we get at 145 for the title. And I mean, who knows? It's going to be awesome. I hope it is. I hope it's in front of a stadium in Spain in September or whenever they want to do it. Max Holloway has shown himself that he's next. There's no, because I remember when Taporia won it, there was like nobody really at 45 excites me, nobody this or that. There's nothing can be disputed now. And I don't know. I guess Holloway's going to have to drop all that weight again, so maybe that could be a factor. With
he's going to sleep.
Thinning himself out, and then maybe he would go to sleep. So, yeah, I know you're that's your boy. So
I'm all in.
Yeah, you're all in. But what a moment! What a just all time just night. And this is the thing you'll remember when you look back at UFC 300. It'll be damn. Remember when Max Holloway put Justin Gaethje the fuck out? That was crazy, and that's kind of what we watched the UFC for. That was awesome. But how about this one? This decision I did not agree with. I don't care what anybody says. I've thought about it a bunch since we watched the fights. I thought Sarukian lost this fight. I thought he lost round 1 and 3. I think that the submission attempts and that offense alone is more valuable and is worth more points than Sarukian maybe landing a couple elbows here and there or a couple of shots on the ground and kind of just maintaining control and smothering a guy. Because that Darce choke was in for a good minute, and although it wasn't, he wasn't able to finish it, the man was not able to reverse it or not, and I guess you could say the same thing for the ground control. But like I said, I just think that the submissions are worth more than that ground control. And I think, what was that? He took the back in the first round. I think the Darce choke was the third round. And the third round was very close. I think that's what it ultimately came down to. I just think that Charles Oliveira did enough to win this fight. I thought we had that money line tie, but what did you think?
No. Yeah, I'd have to go back and rewatch. I was meaning to, and I still haven't. I think Charles got the third. It's going to be interesting to rewatch, and I'm sure he got outlanded, but I don't think Arman landed anything crazy in the third, if I remember correctly, to win the striking and damage battle without even factoring in that Darce choke. I thought, I was not happy when Charles was sticking his tongue out. I was like, bro, we only have a couple of seconds. Like, I was thinking we needed this finish, and we did. But it wasn't deep, and he was defending himself well. A lot of people are on the fence if he went limp or went to sleep. It looks like he just kind of bellied down.
Yeah,
in defense of it. It just kind of looked awkward. It looked funny, just from that angle, which I get. I mean, at first I was like, whoa, what happened? But
Yeah,
I guess that's just how you defend it, which makes complete sense, obviously. So he
it
wasn't in
takes
deep,
that
but he
pressure
managed.
off of the. Just a way to release the pressure. That's kind of, you've seen a couple different guys do that in the past. I saw people saying this fight's fixed. I'm like, oh, these
Yeah.
engagement farming.
Very impressed by Armin, whether he won or not. Honestly, I think his ability to get out of danger. It's happened multiple times to him in his career
Yeah.
so far, which is a good thing. He's battle tested. His ability to get out of danger. He's very calm in there. It's the most thing you need. You need to be calm, cool, and collective. Look at Islam and how calm, cool, collective he always is. He's not in danger much, but remember when Volk dropped him, and he almost got finished in that fifth, and he just held himself together. And again, I think Armin is very similar to Islam as an all-around fighter and even mentally. But I don't know. I don't know what his upper bound limits are, but I do think he can make it interesting at lightweight if he gets another fight with Islam.
Yeah, I think that's probably next after the Poirier fight, and I think I'm not exactly going to be banging the drum saying how excited I am for that fight. It's probably going to be boring based on the style. Oh, I mean, honestly, Islam is exciting. I don't think Sarukian is an exciting fighter. I think he's, like you said, he's tough, he's good, and you can't say anything bad about his skills. But the excitement level, completely different. I guess it's tough. Oliveira has himself to blame a lot for what happened on Saturday night as well. He played the jiu-jitsu game a little bit too much. He didn't exactly try to scramble to get up, or didn't show a ton of urgency in getting up and losing those minutes. It kind of comes back to bite you. Obviously, it did, because he went up just losing this fight. It was razor thin. I thought it was close. I don't think it was a robbery. I just thought the other side won. And sometimes that's how it goes, though. You can't allow yourself to be in that close of a fight. As hard as it is to say, and as difficult as that premise is, it's not easy to just, then I just won't make it close. I'll just smack this guy. It's like, no, that's not that easy. But you can't allow yourself to be on the back and taking elbows to the face and then expect to win a decision. That's the tough part. But we all judge fights differently. That's why it's kind of left up to, they have certain criterias and things of that nature, but that's kind of up to our discussions, and we can yell at Adelaide Bird and Junichiro Kamijo and things.
I'd rather do that.
Yeah, that's more fun. I agree. How about Bo Nickel taking out Cody Brundage submission second round? Of course, whatever it is, the new Bo Nickel thing is whatever I bet him, he does the opposite. If I bet TKO, he's going to submit the guy. If I bet him to submit the guy, he's going to knock the guy out flat cold. So that's just how that's how this cookie's going to crumble. I don't think Bo looked that great on Saturday night. That was the first time I've seen him where I was like, wow, like the wrestling didn't look that good. He panicked a few times. He even himself booed himself. He didn't think he looked all that great.
Yeah.
And Cody Brundage, it seemed like by the middle through that second round, was looking for a way out. And he was giving
it. We knew that.
Yeah, Cody Brundage always looking for a way out. Good win for Bo Nickel, but it's going to be important. I mean, I saw him calling Fluffy out. I don't know about that, brother. Maybe he might be able to control and smother him a little bit. I don't know. That seems like a dangerous proposition for Mr. Bo Nickel, but good win. Good win at the end of the day.
Yeah, he probably won't get Fluffy. Fluffy has a fight with Delidze coming up.
Yeah,
and then he's ready to the top 5. So no offense to Bo Nickel,
he's not.
They're not going to quickly play him up. They're going to slow play him, as they should probably. You don't want to just throw him in there against Hobo Cop and he gets fucking smoked. Our boy, he was there, dude. He's always
on Saturday night, dude.
He did look good. He's got some hair now. Yeah, dude.
Everybody's
going
to
blonde hair. If he shows up his next fight with some blood in his hair, I'm going to be really worried for his opponent. So, the longest he's ever went, Bo Nickel had a couple of takedowns, a couple of submission attempts. He just couldn't get it done, and then he was able to get it done. So, honestly, not too much. They weren't standing for too long. There wasn't that many striking exchanges. His next fight will be Makhachev. I really want to see how they match him up. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him more Cody Brundage types. Just guys that are, kind of strong, kind of big, maybe have a wrestling background or jiu-jitsu background. But either way, I'm excited to see how they manage his career. He's young. He's exciting. He's not the, best talker, but he is kind of straightforward and right to the point. Like, hey, if you get the opportunity, the blessing to be in the cage with me or whatever it is, I kind of like it. He's kind of like, I can kind of root against him. But I can kind of root for him, or at least, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him as a fighter or a personality yet. So we'll see.
We will see. I am in agreement, though. I'm not so sure. I'm not sold on Bo yet. That was kind of an eye-opening experience, and again, like you said, as a person too, like he just annoys me. Just some of the stuff that he says and the way he acts. I don't know, but the jury is still out. Speaking of jury, Yuri, close enough, but Yuri Prochazka takes out Alexander Rakic in what looked. I mean, he just made it absolute chaos and finishes Alexander Rakic in a fight that was pretty. I mean, this is a shocker because he was the underdog in here, and I didn't think people thought Rakic was going to get put out like this. What were your thoughts, Ty? I think you kind of felt a lot of the same about Prochazka. You had the TKO plus 195, so that was your big hitter of the night.
Yeah, only one.
One of your only ones, yeah. But hey, some nights it's just like that. What were your thoughts?
I just thought that eventually Rakic wasn't going to be able to withstand what Yuri would throw at him, and he was going to land his own, and eventually that style that Yuri fights with is going to not work, right? It does almost look like he gets rocked a lot, just the way he moves his head, but his fight style it's so unpredictable and crazy. I want to just predict him and take him to win most fights just because of that, and that's kind of how I felt in this one. Rakic was out for a while, but Rakic did look pretty good for moments of this fight, for most of this fight. And then he got rocked a couple times, and I think he was able to withstand it a little bit. But, man, he just throws this wave at you, and then once he hits you, he's such a dynamic finisher. It was just so funny when he, threw him to the ground.
Yeah.
And then finished his dead corpse. Poor Rakic, man, this was a big, big, big fight for him, and it was going well, and then it just kind of fell apart, So Yuri, we'll see what he does next. Hopefully take a little bit of time off. He wants to fight at 301. I think that's crazy, but he's a crazy animal. So, let's give him a little bit of time and then put him back in the pool. I'm all in.
I don't know what they would do for who would he fight at 301?
Pereira.
Really? I guess, yeah. I guess that would be the one I guess Pereira's not ready, but yeah. I don't know what they would do. I would, like I said, I would do him and Jamal Hill if they're going to do the Ankalaev fight next. Just to give him something to do, eliminate Hill from the conversation, or that. I just want to see that fight at some point. I think that would be so much fun, and just chaos. And Prochazka thrives in chaos. If he's able to make a fight chaotic, then it is a W for him. And eventually, you could see they were having that little technical battle in the beginning, and then eventually Prochazka said "fuck this" and just made it a war. And that's where he thrives, and that's how he won. So, good win for Yuri. The samurai, he lucky he didn't have to show up at Rakic's house. That was a concern. And Yuri standing outside the arena the night before, just staring at the arena. I knew we were in good shape once I saw that video. So, how about Aljamain Sterling with a boring win over Calvin Kattar? And I know I had Kattar in this. I thought Kattar was going to wrestle a little bit better and keep this fight standing and maybe just be better in the striking. Kattar did not look good at all. And maybe that's just the fact that he was so overwhelmed by Aljamain's grappling and wrestling. But there were so many stalemate positions here where Aljamain was just had him up against the cage on one knee, but was just holding him there, and Kattar was just sitting there. This fight was horrible, man. And Sterling's the only guy who didn't get a post-fight press conference, post-fight interview, and deservedly so. Nobody wanted to hear what he has to say. Yeah, exactly. And he's not in the 45 title conversation yet, and it's just, this is just typical Aljamain Sterling. Yeah,
he landed some leg kicks. There was 12 head strikes to 7 from Kattar, 12 from Aljo. There just wasn't much action. There's a lot of stalling against the cage. He had almost 11 minutes of control. He was 8 of 13. A very high percentage from somebody who was at the 30s, and Calvin Kattar had the third highest takedown defense in UFC history at 91.
In all the featherweight history,
and it didn't even matter. Yeah. So it just goes to show you sometimes matchups, if they seem tough, they really are, and that one really was. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but also Calvin Kattar's getting old. It's maybe it's something we should have seen coming, I guess, which I guess we did, but we didn't anticipate it would be that boring, Yeah. So. What are you going to do?
How about Kayla Harrison taking out Holly Holm in her UFC debut? I think, her fighting Pennington for the title is not out of the question next. I think Pennington might be hurt. She's already talking about her and maybe Pena for an interim. So
Yeah,
I'm
she
in for
smokes them
whatever.
both.
She smokes them both. She just kind of made it look easy against Holly, and the striking I think for Kayla is not great. It's never going to be great, but you look at that top of the 35, and there's not exactly somebody who's going to come back and be a killer, other than maybe an Amanda Nunes come back from the grave, which is basically retirement. Other than that, you look Ketlin Vieira, Juliana Pena, Myra Buena Silva, Irene Aldana, Holly Holm, Macy Chase. Like I could just keep going.
Terrible.
None of them are going to be really able to fuck with her if she's able to make 35 and keep it standing for the most part, or keep it on the ground. And we talked about how maybe the weight cut and that would start to add up or play a factor. Maybe when and I said maybe if she fights a younger opponent who's ready to. I don't know. I don't think. I don't see it. I'm gonna have to. This is gonna be one of them things. I'm gonna have to see it happen to believe that she can be cooked. That she's gonna get cooked on the ground or on the feet or anything like that. She looked too much for anyone in that 35 division.
Yeah, especially the ones that are at the top now. I think they all get smoked. Raquel Pennington can talk whatever she wants. One, she is boring as a fighter and boring as a just speaker. I think Kayla Harrison's already a big fan favorite. She's kind of the anti-Ronda Rousey. That she's the judo, but she's also can throw hands and make it entertaining. And she's not, she actually has personality on the mic. So I'm all in. I'm here for her. I think she looked good. She's just so strong.
Yeah.
If she can make 135, she didn't seem to struggle. I know she looked like somebody who was cutting weight, and it was tough to make weight, but I don't think she had any issues. So until there is cause for concern, I'm not worried about that. So maybe open up 145 again, like you did for Amanda, and have her fight Norma Dumont for the belt at 145.
Why not? She could
Double
be a
champ.
2-weight. Yeah, she could be a 2-weight with no problem. Have her fight that.
I want to see her and
Tanya
Amanda
Evinger.
very. Or GDR. I would love to see her and Amanda, though. Just a disclaimer. I would love to see that.
Absolutely. I would hope that would happen. And maybe if Kayla does win that championship, calls her out, Amanda is too much of an egomaniac. Maybe she'll have to come back and kind of defend that belt. How about Diego Lopez taking out your boy Sadiq Youssef in 1 minute and 30 seconds? Ty, this was, not shocking, but the quickness and the way Diego got this done in dominant fashion was pretty insane. Diego must hit hard. Diego is a scary proposition for anybody in that 45 division. I thought we were going to get that sub, Ty. We were so close. He had that.
It would have made our night.
Oh, yeah, we would have been
that
good.
Or the Whaley sub.
Yep.
We got cheated so bad. He wanted to get the knockout. He wanted the ground and pound. Steve wasn't giving up his neck. Also, Sadiq's very chinny. He doesn't like getting hit. And, when the avalanche starts, he's cooked. It's something we've seen from the beginning. Even on his Contender Series fight with Mark Davis, he was getting a little – just the way he reacts to getting hit clean is not good, I should say, or whatever you want to say. But either way, Diego Lopez early on, at the very least, we don't know about how he does in the second or third, at the very least has some serious power early on in the fight. So he's a player, man. He's a player in this division. I'm excited. Still young. So I'm excited.
Still young.
Also, fighter coach, dude. What a beast.
He's going to be hell to get out of there. He's now ranked. He's at 14. I'd love to see him against anyone in that 10 to Giga, Bryce Mitchell, Edson Barbosa, Dan Ige. I
think he gets Ige next.
Yeah, and I think he gets. It's going to be tough for me to see him losing to any of those guys. He scares the shit out of me, and he is. I'm picking him in every single fight now at this point. How about Money Moicano, Renato Moicano, getting the TKO ground and pound of Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner sparks Moicano in that first round and then points at him and acts like it was the ref's fault that he didn't stop the fight when he should have finished up with the ground and pound. He knocked the guy down and thought he just pointed at him. He was like, it's over. It's like, nah. And then Jalen Turner pretty much quit. Yeah. And that was it. Jalen Turner is on the DNB now for me. The do not bet list. Stay away. Unless they give him a trash can matchup next. But anybody of competence, I'm out on Jalen Turner.
Yeah, he finds a way to lose fights, and there's I guess something to be said about that not improving with age. Again, he is 28.
Yeah,
he is 28, and he does have some abilities that maybe he hasn't been unlocked yet. Maybe if he moves up to 170, maybe that'll do it. He would still be big for that weight class. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't imagine changing camps would help him much, but maybe there's just something he has to figure out. Definitely has to work on his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, and just his defense. He has some offense. It's just there's just massive holes in his game.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if we'll ever be able to overcome that.
How about Jessica Andrade taking out Marina Rodriguez? Split decision. I agree with the decision. This fight was kind of boring, though. We were talking about this when
I'm kind of surprised it was a split.
Yeah, when you get those kind of close fights, it can go either way. When they read it, I was like, "Are you kidding me, man?" But
yeah,
I was so upset at this point because some of these. I thought Figueiredo for sure was going to knock him out, and then of course he subs him. He just cuts through his guard and just makes it happen. But
Cody, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah, but good win for Jessica.
Just for this one, it was good. She was landing the harder shots. She was coming forward. She even tried to implement some wrestling. So good on her. And I just think Marina, she's 36, 37, I think. So yeah, she's probably her better days are behind her. Unfortunately, she did show up. She did throw some decent shots and land some decent shots. It's just not enough. It never is enough with her. So. Yeah.
How about Bobby Green taking out Jim Miller? Jim Miller looked like he got hit by a car after it. This guy had all sorts of cuts and bruises, broken hand, and all sorts of stuff. I mean, he rocked Bobby Green a few times during this fight. This was an awesome fight. I thought worthy of $300,000 if it wasn't for that BMF title fight. But what are you gonna do? Good win for Bobby Green, and it's just Jim Miller always brings it every time he's in there.
Yeah, poor guy. I don't think he's going to see UFC 400, but that's fine. Yeah. Maybe he can get inducted into the Hall of Fame on that night. Who knows? Even though that probably won't happen either.
Yeah, hopefully.
Bobby Green just smoked him. He's just too quick, too powerful, just too much on the feet for him. If it's going to be a striking battle for 15 minutes, he had more significant strikes landed than Max Holloway. That just shows you how much of a dog Jim Miller is. There's a couple times where he was looking like it was done and over, and I don't know how the fuck he managed to will through that. All the damage he's taken in his career, all the fights he's had, all the guys he's fought, it's insane. He's just a different breed. Maybe you get him and Diego Sanchez next. Maybe give him a retirement fight next. I don't know. I think he's probably done.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to take him to the ground. I hope maybe the next one's the next, like the one where he's done. Maybe he gets one kind of send-off fight. I thought we were going to have that a couple times ago. Maybe this one will be like the eye-opening sort of situation, but who knows? I think he still he looked good. He took a lot of damage, but again, I don't like, we talked about this. We don't like seeing guys this old who are veterans in this game who take that kind of damage like that.
No.
That's we want you to be able to be alive later on in life. How about Davison Figueiredo, the sniper's brother, and not to be confused with the Francisco Figueiredo, the real sniper.
The other sniper.
He takes a submission victory, rear naked choke over Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt had vertigo, Ty. That's why he lost.
Yeah, that's why he lost.
He wasn't able to defend on the ground.
He didn't have it in the first round, but it came striking back in the second. So Cody Garbrandt 0, vertigo 1. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
He's going to get that battle locked down again.
As soon as the fight went to the ground, he all of a sudden he didn't know what was happening. I was like, convenient, but I don't know what to make of that. I just don't know. Vertigo. I've seen my sister and father have vertigo or episodes, and it's scary for sure. But I just think this is a guy. He was just overmatched. He fought pretty well. Did well. On his feet.
Looked good on the feet. He was actually
his hands were sharp.
Yeah,
and he made Figgy want to shoot. And I think that was smart of Figgy, not realizing let me just go out my sword. I can outstrike this guy. Like it wasn't looking. Plan A wasn't looking good early, so he said, "Let me try Plan B," and that's how he got him out of there. So. Good on him. He almost had him in first, right? I think he had a couple. He was close to a submission attempt, but got him out in the second. And I don't know. I just don't know where Cody goes from here.
Almost had that head and arm. Yeah, Cody's just kind of hanging around at this point. He's just the guy. He's not going to be fighting for that title ever again. So it's basically that realization is going to have to happen, and then he's going to have to be the Brian Kelleher of the 35 division, where you kind of just fight these young killers coming up or guys who are trying to make a name for themselves. That's just a good win for Figueiredo. He moves his way up that 35 division. I think right now he's at 6. So who knows what's next for him. I'd like to see him and Cheeto fight. I think that would be awesome. But pretty much anything next for Figueiredo would be all good for me. And that is UFC 300. It is in the books, Ty. I think it lived up to the hype. I think it was a great night of fights. I'm sad that it's gone because, like you made mention of, if you people out there look through these next few cards, it is not a great looking set of fights, and just throughout the next couple weeks, it's not going to be good. The main events are bad, the cards are bad, the fights are bad. So maybe you'll find a couple sleepers here and there, but it's going to be a rough few weeks.
We're off this weekend, so that's good.
That's good.
We can,
yep.
I mean, dude, the next card, Ryan Spann, Bogdan. We're gonna see what Bogdan's made of. So I'm excited for that.
Is that a main event? No,
that's co-main to Nicolau Perez.
Oh, that's great. What a main event. How about Gaethje and Holloway both get 300,000? Holloway gets 300,000 for performance at night, and like you said, Yuri Prochazka gets 300,000, 30,000. That would suck. Less than the actual thing that they give out. Something Dana would do, but there it is. Ty, quickly before we get out of here, I know you gotta move. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia this weekend. That is kind of the main event. The topic of discussion fight coming up this weekend. I think we both have discussed what our thoughts are on this. Devin Haney, TKO. I think it's still in the plus. I think you can still get it at plus. It's plus pretty good money as well. But doesn't seem like anybody wants to go to this fight. Nobody really cares about this fight. People from it's kind of like a zoo animal sort of thing where they're looking in at Ryan Garcia acting like a fucking freak, and they're like, wow, kind of want to see what happens with that. But nobody's really gonna spend money, go to the fight, be excited for it. It's at plus 170 now. But other than that, Ty, what are your thoughts on this? I know you are our trusted boxing expert.
I think Devin Haney smokes him.
Yeah.
Either it's a wide decision or he knocks him out. I think he will knock him out. He gave him a nice shove at their little post or what was it? Their little face off they had on like the
Empire
roof
State Building, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Yeah. Why are we doing this on the floor? Let's do this thousands of feet in the air. Haney pushed him, and then Ryan said, "I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you." And then today he tweeted, "Who wins? This is kind of fun. Ryan Garcia versus John Jones. Both are fully coked out." I was like, "That's a good one. That's a good one." I think I don't trust a single soul or animal in this world to beat John Jones if he's fully coked out. I'm just saying. Like a human, like a grizzly bear. Like, no.
Cocaine bear. Give me back my cocaine, you stupid fucking bear.
He is Cocaine Bear, I think. Him and Conor fused together. But
Conor's basically Cocaine Bear, yeah.
But no, I think Haney smokes him. I think he and I will be there no matter what to see Ryan Garcia get knocked out. I can't believe this fight's happening with all the craziness that's surrounding it, but I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Are you excited about this at all? Like, is this going to be one of them where you're, like kind of checking in, or if you, I think you're working, but if you were off, would you be like locked in and ready to go?
No, I mean, I'm gonna be off later, and I'm assuming they won't step in the cage until late, right? It's not like they're fighting overseas. So yeah, I'll be tuned in. There's not gonna be really much else going on. I don't think, if I remember correctly, the undercard or the rest of the main card or whatever you want to call it is really stacked. I think you have an Irish fellow in the co-main against Arnold Barbosa, who's pretty nice at 140. But other than that, I don't think there's really too much going on. I guess it looks like there's some decent guys. Charles Conwell is on this card. Darianchenko is on this card as well. Always fun watching him fight. I thought he was retired, but either way.
This fight's in Las Vegas?
I believe it's in Brooklyn. I believe
is
it's
it?
Barclays,
it says on Wikipedia that it's like at Las Vegas. I was like, well, then why the fuck were they standing on top of the Empire State Building?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
Hey,
fuck?
you never know, but no. It should be a pretty decent card, honestly. It looks like there's an undefeated French guy against a guy with one loss from Uzbekistan. They're always scary. His name's the Beck Bully, so that's cool. It honestly should be a good card. So yeah, I'll be tuned in for sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your MMA-less weekend. Enjoy the boxing. Enjoy this podcast. Well, you already did. And enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the start of the NBA playoffs. We probably will have a pod. We have a Sixers. The Eagles are in the playing game tonight. No, the Sixers are in the playing game against the Miami Heat. Big game for the potential of the Sixers making a run here in this NBA playoffs. Flyers do not make the playoffs, but we were going to get into all of that on an episode.
Tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday. If you're listening to this on Thursday, you're like, wait, where's the episode? It's coming. All right, it's coming. Just chill the fuck out for a second. But other than that, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the week off of MMA. Enjoy the week off of UFC. My name is McSweeney. This has been the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. His name is
Hi, Capone. And as always, just get outside. Matt says a lot. Get some sun.
Yeah.
And don't curse at anybody.
And just drink some water.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.